Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Harbin and I work at Dalhousie University.
And I'm Dan Kelly, and I also work at Dalhousie University.
And today we're going to do a quick kind of on the fly video, but what we're going to show is the new, we call it mapApp, which is an app that we've incorporated into our argoFloats package. So Dan, I'm going to send it over to you. Stop my share.
Good, so I'll start sharing, and I'm going to show, this is an RStudio window, and I'm just showing you the graphical output from this. What I've just done in the other part of the window, which I'm not showing you, I just typed mapApp, M-A-P, that's lowercase, capital A, P-P. So mapApp with the A in the capital, paren, paren. So I'm just calling that function. And after a couple of seconds, it loads up like this. It takes a few seconds because it's downloading an index. Presently, we have this set up to download an index at most once a day. And we're thinking of changing that to once a month, actually, just to save the 10, 20 seconds for startup. Anyway, so this is what you'll see. You'll see the world, and it's showing you a time span here. This is year, month, day, year, month, day. So in this time interval, there are 6,802 Argo profile data profiles. You can change the time interval here, which we'll be seeing in just a second. And of course, you can get help, and I'll show you what code means later on. So one thing you can do is you can brush. So I'm going to press the mouse down and then slide the mouse. So I've just done that, and I've selected a region. And so now this is focused on this region. These are all the floats that came up during these times. So I'm just going to show you what these buttons mean. The first thing is BGC means the biogeochemical Argos. And I'm going to unclick that, and you're going to see these green ones will go away. That tells you that the green color is indicating that. The yellow ones are normal Argo, core Argo, and you don't see any here, but there's a purple color that's used for deep ones. Let's see. So you can also click and get a topography. And you can see this is Nova Scotia, and this is Newfoundland, and this is Cape Cod, Cape Hatteras down here, Canada, the US, and the Great Lakes are not shown because we hate fresh water because we're oceanographers, I guess. Now you can also click high res, and it just becomes a little more beautiful. The coastline is more detailed. And on my machine, but not on this machine that not the way you're seeing it here, but you can download a high resolution data set. And I have that set up because I use this in classes. And for the lucky students in my class, they get to see high resolution. You don't see it when you run the app this way, unless you can follow directions and get that set up. I'm going to show you another button now, and that is the path button. And what this is doing is it's joining it looks for float IDs, and it finds any that are in sequence, equal, and it joins them up with arrows. So that's what's happening there. And it's drawing an arrow from to. So at this location here, the water at 1,000 meters was going sort of northerly, and here it was going as the direction indicated, and here it's faster going in that direction, and so forth. Just to show you how this works, I'm just going to change that to a 7. So now we're going to show a longer time interval between the 7th month, about 2 months, roughly speaking. And you see these things get longer. So this one here, for example, is a little bit longer. These ones down here, maybe you could use the word Gulf Stream for what's going on here. This is quite a mess, which is enough, I think, to make you stop believing in the kind of National Geographic currents that you may have seen at one point in your life. Now what I'm going to do is, if you look at this box, I'm going to move my mouse right up here, is a box will appear when I'm in the data. So here we go. If I'm far from any float, it just gives the lat and the lon, latitude and longitude. And but if I'm near a float within 100 kilometers, it'll tell you what the float is. So this is float ID 4902111. It's on cycle 171 typically, and the cycles start at 1, and they typically go up to a couple hundred. That's how long the floats last, typically. And you can see the date in which the data were acquired too. Now there's another feature, which is if you double click on a float, it records it, and it's sort of giving us a hint. That hint's going to go away in a second, but the hint is maybe you might want to go single. So it's saying, let's just look at a single float. This is what we're seeing here. So this is the path, all the data of this float. And I'm putting the mouse near one of the recent points. That's cycle 171. You go to here, 140. So this is backward in time. So we're going backward in time here. This is cycle 10, cycle 11, cycle 9. So look, the beginning cycle must have been down here somewhere. So this float was, maybe it was even, it's quite hard to do, to find. It's fun. It's fun. I'll say it's fun. But somewhere in here, there's cycle number 1. And I guess if I just move the mouse around enough carefully, I'd find the first cycle. So clearly what happened was it went around, I'll say more or less in the Gulf Stream, and then came back out here, meandered around a little bit, got into the Gulf Stream a bit more, finally got up to what we'll call God's country here in Nova Scotia. And since we're talking about Nova Scotia, I'll give some detail. Jamie and I are talking from this location right here, which is Halifax, Nova Scotia. At the moment, it's going in this direction, but clearly the trend is, I believe it's probably, I had to make a prediction that it will start going southerly along this path, which I'm showing just there. More on the clicking that you can do. You can move up and back and around and so forth like that. Right. Another thing you can do is click code, and it will show you code that if you cut and paste this into an R session, you would basically duplicate what we have at the moment. And this plot map would give something quite similar to what we have there. Also in a false loop here, we've got how you could read the profiles. And we've put that in a false loop because you probably don't want to cut and paste that into R without thinking about it just a little bit, because it could well, we have how many floats? We have, I guess I can't quite tell from this, but it looks like at least 170. So that's 170 downloads from the Argo server, which might take, sometimes it can take tens of seconds each. So we're not showing that, and it's a thing you'd want to think about before doing. By the way, I'll just say one more thing, and that is that this gray box here is the box within which we're showing data. I'm not saying that there are no Argo floats out here, because there certainly are Argo floats out there. Now I'll just go back to all, and maybe I'll go out a little bit. I don't honestly know what I just clicked to. I clicked something that made us go up here. I don't know what it was. So we're getting this time interval is the lifetime of that float, which I just showed you. And this is the general path. So there are a lot of Argo floats. They try to stay, basically are designed to be in waters greater than about 1,000 meters. And so they're not getting into these shallower regions. I guess if you squint your eyes, you can see that there is sort of like a Gulf Stream in there with this black mess. That's my official word, that the Gulf Stream is a black mess. There's lots of stuff you can do with this. You can type in, if you know a particular float you're interested in, you can type it in here. You can type in time ranges as well. Was there anything else I should bring up here, Jamie?
No, that was the only thing that I was just going to mention on the end there, is that you can type in the float ID instead of it just auto-filling like we showed before. And that can be really useful, you know, for instance, if I think that I see something a little funky, I can just say, Dan, go look at this float ID, and it brings you right to where I want you to be. So that we've noticed that quite a few times, how useful that is.
Yeah, good, thanks for that. One more thing I'll say is that all we're doing here is we're looking at the lawns and lats. So to actually get the data, you've got to, well, see our previous videos, which tell how to get the data and how to work with the data. So right in this view here, there's 9,000 or so profiles, and that would take a very long time to download and quite a long time to read. So think carefully before doing that. You could certainly do it, and obviously for a research project, that's not a problem at all. It's not a good thing for an interactive program like this. All right, well, thanks for watching, and we hope this was useful, and we'll talk to you again at some time in the future. Bye-bye.
Ready.
I think I've stopped the video. Can you tell if I have, Jamie?
It's still recording, Dan.